This is rather magical, I can tell you. We asked a local, and there's a lane up here that we're going to go. We'll get there. Funny enough, I've got one as well. We are a pair of apples.
We are.
I'm in the van and I'm on a trip. I'm off to Plymouth. Yes, it's finally happened. I'm actually about to leave any second now for my trip to Plymouth. And I'm very excited. I'm going down to meet up with Tim Tricker, who's taken his daughter Taylor to university. She is at university in Plymouth, obviously. It's about a 5-hour straight drive, but I'm going to be taking a gentle route, stopping hopefully on the way, enjoying van life. This is very exciting because I'm going on my own this time, and I'm looking forward to it. I've hopefully packed everything I need, but anything else I need, I guess I can buy on the way. So this is a little adventure. It's Wednesday as I go now, and I'm aiming to come back on Saturday. So I'm hoping to make a series of videos of explorations of Plymouth and the area. So I haven't taken my GoPro, so I probably won't get too many of the travelling shots, but we'll see what we get as we go. So first stop, got to get some petrol. First port of call is down at Julia's parents. Julia happens to be down here for a couple of days, so I thought I would pop in and have a cup of coffee. It's only about an hour, so I haven't got very far to Plymouth, but it's always nice to have somewhere to stop to have a cuppa. So let's go in. How's the lovely Julia?
Not good, but happy. It's a lovely day. The Richard has come to visit on his way, and
you've got a busy old day today.
Yes, I'm going to go see my brother and sister-in-law, and then take the kids back home.
Well, it's been a fleeting visit at Julia's mum's. A quick cup of coffee and a nice old chinwag, and I think Julia's got something for me. What have you got?
Bit of top hat.
Oh wow.
This very odd battered looking thing, but I figured you might be able to reshape that.
Oh yeah. Some hats. Do you want to stick one on my head, see what I look like? Well, I don't know. That's very good. I've stopped off on the journey now, just near Dorchester off the A31, to Maiden Castle, a very famous, and I don't know whether it's the largest, but one of the largest Iron Age hill forts in the country, bigger than Sisbury. And I just wanted to find somewhere to have lunch just to break up the journey. It is actually very windy. I was going to get the drone up and have a little overview shot, which would be fantastic, but it's too windy for my drone. I'm actually sheltering a little bit in lee of the van, but I thought I'd take the camera up and see if we can just get a couple of shots as I am en route. I've never been to Maiden Castle. It's somewhere I've always wanted to go, so I'm going to change my footwear and then clamber up, so let's do that. Well, this is very exciting. I didn't actually expect to stop here, wasn't planned. Maiden Castle. There's a sign there, but I haven't actually read it. I took a photograph of it. I haven't actually read it, so I'm not going to tell you any factual information because I'm likely to be absolutely wrong. But if it's the same sort of age as Sisbury, which is what? I don't know now. Get very confused on all these dates. People probably think that I should know all this stuff. Is it 4,000 years ago, or 4,000 BC, 5,000, something like that? It's a long time. I'll bung it on the screen for Maiden Castle of when its main period was around. Behind me is the ancient market town of Dorchester, which of course is famed for being in the Thingamajigs novels, and that's another name that's now just suddenly escaped me. I'll bung it on the screen. I've read some of his novels, it'll come to me. I wanted to go in and actually have a look, but sorry, struggling with the gate and holding camera. But as I came in, there seemed to be roadworks, so I'll go back to Dorchester on another occasion. So I'm going to walk up to the top of these ramparts and then hopefully get some views. I was also going to fly the drone, just get a couple of aerial shots. I'll see what it's like when I come back, but as I came out the van and set up to do that, it was very windy. So I've just paused, of course, and looked up on the internet. Yes, so the origins are Neolithic, 6,000 years ago, back in the Neolithic period, but it's an Iron Age hill fort, so that makes it about 800 years BC to 43 AD when the Romans came. So there was a lot of activity here. The size of it is huge, up to something like 50 football pitches, which is a good way, that's what English Heritage say on their website, it's a good way of trying to visualise it, quite complex. And of course, it was here for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So you can imagine there would have been not one history, I mean there's a big broad history of course, but not just it was like this and that was it. Over those many thousands of years and millennia, so much would have changed. Developments, politics, systems, love affairs, defences, all of that as the country would have developed and changed. We're getting up onto one of the first ramparts here. Absolutely stunning. It certainly knocks Sisbury into a cocked hat. My God, look at that. Clambering up here on one of the sides, this must be the north, well, hang on, yes, the sun is directly behind me, so I'm guessing that would be potentially the north entrance. Because it was so huge, it had to be, and I'm guessing here again, some form of administration centre as well as its own community, looking after the flats of the rest of the county. Well, I'm just trying to think, Dorchester, what county is that in now? I'm beginning to show my ignorance more and more in this. We've gone through Dorset. Are we still in Dorset? I think we are. Dorset, yeah, Dorchester is the county town of Dorset, isn't it? When I put the camera on, one gets very confused very easily. Now, I've just come up that ravine. You just saw me, not the ravine, but that channel. And then here, look, another one. Absolutely staggering. And ahead of me, more. You know, to defend this would have been, well, tricky. You would need a lot of people, but the landscape has been moulded and manufactured by the Neolithics to the Iron Age over that period of time to their advantage. So to storm this, I mean, you would need thousands to surround it if you were going to surround it. I guess that probably never happened. You'd have to make a concentrated effort on one or two entrances, and people at the other side may never even know. I've sort of made it up now to the top of the central living area, past these on the north side. Now, if I had a lot more time, I would probably spend more just trying to explore the place and work out more about it. I've got a book on hilltops, and I did think it would be great to go and do a Bald Explorer hilltop investigation, you know, a whole series of exploring England. And one day when I've got the funds, it would be good to do that. I apologise for the wind, by the way, which is blowing over me. But look, that's the second of the entrenchments, and then there's one beyond that. But I'm going to walk down around. It's really blowing now. I'm going to walk down around and then down the other side. In fact, how steep is this? This gets me. Come down here a little bit out of the wind. We've got some sheep grazing nearby on the other side of me. This is very simplistic filming today. I didn't bring my tripod, and you haven't got the normal walking shots and all of that that I do, because I'm really just recording my trip to Plymouth in little stages. But yes, it would be great to come back and imagine and learn more about the communities, the people that would have at one time lived here, the stories that would have been that no one could possibly imagine, the love stories, the skirmishes, the battles over those hundreds and thousands of years. We think of our history being a full tapestry of amazing things, but these are stories that we can barely grasp at. We get the vaguest hint of how they lived, how they survived, and that perhaps big things happened like fires and things. But what we can't possibly know, and this is the greatest shame because there was nothing ever written down, is the actual story, the human story, what people thought, the love, the romance, the bringing up of children, their psychology, and all of that. We can't possibly ever know that. And that to me is hugely regretful, because that's in our DNA, and I think that's part of why I am searching for England and Englishness, because it probably starts in places like this, and yet we can't for sure tell that element of the story. But I don't think they were that different from us. They weren't vlogging, that's for sure, but maybe they were communicating to one another with stories and all of that. Come now through the west gate. Please excuse the wind. Hopefully getting out of the wind. And here is a concentrated series of defensive mounds, ridges, I forget the technical term, which would have been heavily guarded and made difficult for anyone to clamber up. I mean, look how deep that is. A moment's respite from the wind here at the western entrance. I was quite right, there's a sign just there that tells us a bit more with a picture of what it might have looked like, which is fantastic. Now, I think I've been reading a lot about early farming, and although it is 50 footballs, pitch is big, and the community would have been a growing community, I don't think all the farming would have been done within there. I think the outlying land that we see would have been fairly similar. People always think that it was very boggy and very marshy and there was nothing out there but trees and wild forests and stuff. But I don't think that's actually true. Now, I'm not an archaeologist, but I've been reading a lot from various books on the subject. And from the Neolithic period, the trees were being cleared, the land was being farmed. And because, unlike today, where we can use tractors, we can use modern fertilizers, and we can use pesticides, they didn't have any of that. So they would be depleting the soil of its fertility relatively quickly over several years, and then they would clear another patch and move on. So that's why I don't think too much of the farming would have been up in the hill fort itself, probably in more sheltered spots at the foot of the hill fort. That's my thoughts. Right. Just popped into the van with the door open so I can peer out and have something to eat and drink. It's so quiet, you can hear the birds, the ground nesting birds, and I think skylarks may be in the sky. Behind me, a few cars, and people are tuned in. I noticed one car tuned in to the war with Russia and Ukraine. I've not been following any of it really. I've had too much news in the last few years. The great thing about van life for me is I don't want to know what's going on in the other parts of the world. You might think that's being a bit ignorant. I keep a little bit of knowledge on it, but mostly I don't want to hear a blow-by-blow account. I want to know the blow-by-blow account that happened at Maiden Castle. Right, I get back on the road and we'll head off. I'll probably stop one more time before I get to Plymouth and hopefully catch up with Tim Tricker. Just pulled over. I'm about 47 minutes away from Plymouth, more or less, and I've pulled over, but I'm actually going to meet Tim at Plympton or something nearby Plymouth. We're going to meet and probably have a cup of coffee, maybe look at the church there, or even I think there's a castle. I'm not sure, but the kettle is on. And it's very noisy with all these cars zipping by. I'm on the A30. I've arrived in Plympton, and here is Mr. Tricker. Hello, Tim. Nice apple.
Lovely apple. Good afternoon.
Yeah, funny enough, I've got one as well. We are a pair of apples.
We are.
Takes the pip, doesn't it?
This takes the piff.
Is a very lovely little place you've found here.
This is lovely. Plympton is
blimey,
very
hang on, there's a mad dog in that one, of course.
Plympton's lovely. Lovely. Lots of old
houses. I'm very tempted to come back here tonight and park up somewhere. Discreetly, because I don't think there's a lot of trouble around here.
I don't think there's any trouble around here.
Now, what are we doing? We're walking, but we're going somewhere
to
special.
a castle, Plympton Castle.
Oh yeah, Plympton Castle.
Yeah.
So, and you've got in your hand down here, look at that, a silver box full of money.
Box full of money. We're going to go and bury it in the castle.
That's great.
We're going
to set a challenge.
We're going to set a challenge, and everybody can enter for a small fee.
I think that's a perfect solution. So, well, let's do that. Meanwhile, you might have to move the drone over.
Yeah.
We're hoping we get some drone shots.
I hope so.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, let's press on.
Press on, see what we can do.
Well, we've come up the hill to what looks like the Old Bailey, with where the wall would have once been. Sorry about that. Bit of apple on there. And then the castle, the Motte, which would have had the keep, presumably up there. And you said there are ruins.
There are ruins up here, yes.
So look at that, 2 castles in one day. One Iron Age castle and one presumably Norman. Here we go. Plympton Castle. What does it say, Tim?
A Norman moat and bailey castle built before 1136 AD by Earls of Devon and Deptford. The manor of Plympton.
So that's at Motte.
It's a Motte.
That's how it's pronounced. Here we are, look, there's a nice little walkway. Oh, another vicious dog. To clamber up the side of the Motte. I think it's at 11:58, which is almost midday.
We're a bit late then.
Yeah, well, it's about 4ish,
about
isn't it?
4ish,
It's just
yeah,
after
so.
4 here. But 11:58, so it would have taken the Normans, you know, some time to conquer from Sussex right over to Plymouth.
So look, fair distance,
Yeah.
250 miles.
And one wonders if they came by boat round the side or whether they just did a progression, because they would have gone to Maiden Castle at Dorchester, where I was.
Yeah.
And each time the people would be retreating west and ending up in Wales, presumably. A bit like when the Romans were here. Same old business. Oh look, you get a good view of some of the town. We made it to the top of the keep, Tim,
We're here.
and I think there's some old Normans already here from the old days.
They've been.
Yo, I got like 40, how many you want?
They are, look. They're even waving at us.
They're even waving, yeah.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
It's a lovely castle you got here.
Pardon?
It's a lovely castle.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a castle.
It's a keep, isn't it, this bit? The keep, the stronghold.
Wait, do you live near here?
No, never been here before in my life, but
Whereabouts do you live?
I live down in Sussex,
Oi!
Where's that? Sussex.
near Brighton.
Wait, that's ages away.
It
Yeah?
is ages away, yeah.
You don't even live in Plymouth.
No.
No, not even in Plymouth. We're going to Plymouth.
Wait, they don't even live in Plymouth.
We don't
We
even
don't
live
live
there.
in Plymouth. Nope.
It's a surprise, isn't it?
Or Ivy Bridge.
Or Ivy Bridge,
Or even Devon.
or anywhere. We just live in a tent in the Outer Hebrides. The thing about this is they've got this, I don't know what contraption that is.
That's flag. That's for flag.
Oh, that's
I reckon.
yeah, that's a flag. I knew that. I knew that. I knew that. They've got on the floor here little markers to tell us
Wait, do you have a YouTube
what's
channel?
around. Yeah, we do. Check it out.
What is it?
Baldexplorer.com. Bald Explorer. Bald Explorer.
Is it B-O or B-A?
BALD.
How many subscribers?
24,000.
That's not too bad,
Oh, that's
actually.
actually decent.
That's quite decent, isn't it?
Not bad, is it?
There we are. You see,
Yeah.
we've been.
24k subscribers.
I got 67 million.
It's not TikTok. It's YouTube. You know, it's a bit old-fashioned these days. Anyway, I was trying to tell you about that, but obviously we've got some of the locals here. But some stunning views, and we're going to try and see those by getting the drone up
Get the drone
discreetly
up discreetly from
before
the
the
other side of the.
yokels come over and terrorise us.
Oi, what you doing?
Yeah. Tim's got his DJI drone, which is a rather impressive thing. A little more impressive than mine, but twice the price. And I'm hoping for some fantastic pictures, which you need to be a little bit discreet because of the locals.
We should be all okay.
But we should be good. And there's some beautiful houses around here. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And when we looked on Google Maps, at first we didn't think there was anything here. But there was. Oh look, there's a little friend. Hello. Not working.
It will do.
You don't do running, do you?
Running?
No. Oh. Huh. It's locked.
Apparently it's the biggest floating chain bridge in the world.
The biggest, wow. And we've had the privilege of going on it.
That's it.
Well, how lovely is that? That is brilliant.